Well, as you've probably seen on our website over the last couple of months, Bell's gone for a real push now. They haven't done huge upgrades with their helmets this year, starting from this top-of-the-line Moto-9 Carbon Flex, but they have made sure that they've got some sort of rotational. They're very much as a safety company and a specialist in helmets since 1954, which is what I love about a company like Bell, that they totally specialise. They're passionate about what they do and they're very good at what they do. So this year their entire range has either a MIP system or a flex system, which give you that sort of rotational plane and actually mitigate some of the the traumatic brain injury that's caused by even some relatively small hits. So what I'm holding here in a pretty sexy looking lid, I've been running this for a few months now, and I really like the thing. It's the new top of the line Moto-9 Flex Carbon, from Bell. It's, as I said, the key thing about this is really what they've done internally. So to manage and to mitigate those rotational forces, and essentially what they've done with that is basically got three separate polymers. So instead of just your standard EPS, which most helmets come with only as that one impact liner, they've actually added another two liners, and the idea of that is each with a different material, and the idea of that really is that you've got a system that's designed to manage sort of low, medium and high energy impacts. So what do we think about it? Well, as you'd expect from a helmet you're paying $900 for, it's one of the most expensive helmets on the market. It's got to be good quality, and it is. I mean, everywhere you look on the thing, the quality of the finish, is insane. It's got a beautiful carbon composite shell. There's kind of no little gimmicky fins or stabilizing bits and pieces on the thing. It's just a very functional, very good looking helmet, and obviously strong and lightweight at about 1300 grams. The style also, I really like the sort of style of the thing. It's nice, as I say, without too many gimmicks. Probably most importantly, the fit, and I think this is probably where this helmet really shines for me. I think the sophistication of that three-layer liner, you can actually, interestingly enough, I'm a large in every other helmet brand. I run a medium in this, and I think the reason is that not because the sizing's large, but because that flex liner actually conforms and molds to your head. And as you put it on, it feels probably a little bit tighter originally, but you feel it mold. Combined with what's actually a pretty unsophisticated and simple liner, but works really, really well. So it's probably a slightly firmer fit around your head, but you're not compromising the shell shape in order to get the thing on your head, thanks to that conforming, the fact that it conforms. So I think I think some of the PR talks about it being the fit being sort of personalized and adaptive, and I'd agree with that 100%. As I mentioned, the liner is just a very simple thing, super cool with the magnetic, which is a safety thing as well as a convenience. There's no crazy tabs or anything to get the padded liner out. It's literally 4 studs, bang, 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 and it's out, and obviously washable, like all of them are. Not fiddly to put back in either. There's no tabs to duck under and things so that's a really cool system for me. The other thing probably worth mentioning is, it's always very difficult for off-road helmets with that EPS liner to actually just drill holes in it and create some sort of ventilation, no matter how many exhaust ports and stuff that you have. But the fact that this has actually got 3 separate liners allows a little bit more ventilation, and you actually definitely notice that with this helmet. Other things, look the detail. I think we've got some beautiful little stainless steel mesh ports here. The fact that you've aside from the magnetic cheek pads, you've also got a magnetic clip, just stop the thing flapping against your cheek. And when you've got gloves on, the last thing you want to be doing is dicking around with that. So that's a little thing, but kind of important. And I think probably again from a safety point of view, you've got the helmet eject system that's actually ready made in the helmet, so you don't have to go modifying your helmet in any way to adapt that system, which for most race series around the world now, for a national level, is mandatory. So any downsides? Well, a little bit, and we're probably quibbling a little bit here, but this visor system's intentionally designed here with 2 tabs that allow it to break off. I think it's called something like a flying bridge visor system, so notably no fasting point in the middle there. Great, works particularly well. It's a safety feature. It's Bell's version of what Fox has recently done with their magnetic visor. But in order to do that, they've got some really cool sort of recessed little visor screws here. Only downside is you actually got to tighten the bejesus out of it. You literally got to everything you've got to tighten that thing up in order to stop the visor from moving. And even when I give it everything I've got, it still has a little bit of movement. So that's just something you're just going to have to pay attention to. The other thing is the chin piece, and not so much a bad thing, but the chin piece is fairly close. And I've noticed on a couple of wet rides, because it's sitting very much there, and it's actually got a really big piece of foam in it. It can sort of force air up and you know, prompt your goggles to fog up a little bit. Pretty easy. Just grab the piece of foam, rip that out, and then you've got the sort of mesh and a lot of ventilation there, so that doesn't become an issue at all. The other thing, and again, minor quibble, probably here, like in terms of the eye port, probably a little bit narrower depending on what sort of goggles you wear, but if you've got a set of goggles with a nose piece in itself, you know, that is a bit narrow. Just got to make sure the goggles fit. If there's any doubt or if you're having any problem with the thing, you do have this little nose piece here, again on the helmet, that you can just rip out and create that little bit more space for yourself. So, as I said, at $900, you know, it is one of the most expensive helmets on the market, but you know, it also comes with next level protection, function, fit, and I guess most importantly, safety. You know, and a 5-year warranty, which is not such a bad thing as well. And you know, as I mentioned before, I love wearing products that are actually the product of a really passionate design team who focuses wholly and solely on this particular product. Bell is a safety company, helmets are what they do, and by rights they should be better than anybody else at it. And I think they are. If $900 is a little bit rich for your blood, as I mentioned earlier, you know, like the Bell does come with a range. Not everything with the Flex, but you know, you can obviously, stepping away from the carbon, you know, moving down to the Moto-9, which is I think about 150 grams heavier and about 350 grams cheaper at $550. So it still has very much the same shell construction and features, just but without some of the top end bits and pieces. But you know, this is a company that's been around since 1954. They make an awesome product, and it's not just something you notice the first time. You notice as you wear the thing time and time and time again. It doesn't sack out. It fits perfectly. Everything works, and you know, touch wood, I haven't had a nasty crash with this thing on yet. But you know, from a features point of view, it's equipped to handle it.